Welcome to Moonlight Drift Stories, a place where your mind can rest and your dreams can wander through gentle, peaceful worlds. Settle in, take a deep breath, and let tonight's story carry you toward calm and sleep. Before we begin, allow yourself to find stillness. Feel your body soften against your bed or chair. Let the weight of the day melt away from your shoulders, your neck, and your mind. Every breath you take is a step away from tension and a step closer to peace. Tonight's story is about time. Not the numbers on a clock, but the moments that make a life. It's about how easily we lose those moments in the rush to achieve more, be more, and earn more. Until something or someone reminds us that time is the most precious thing we will ever own. This is the story of Michael, a man who had everything he thought he wanted, until he realized what he'd been trading away. The morning alarm struck 5:15 a.m. It wasn't music, nor birds singing. Just the flat buzz of a phone that had become the metronome of Michael's life. He groaned, rolled over, and slapped the screen quiet. The room was dim, bathed in the cold blue light of the city beyond the window. Beside him, Emily slept peacefully under the warm blanket. He watched her for a moment and whispered an apology he didn't voice out loud. Quietly, he slipped out of bed, pulling on his shirt and tie as he'd done 1,000 times before. On his way out, he paused at the hallway photos. A gallery of better days. Emily and Sophie at the beach, sunlight catching in their hair. Sophie on his shoulders at Disneyland, grinning, toothless and free. That photo always stopped him. The joy in that little face felt like a world he'd somehow left behind. The coffee machine hummed softly in the kitchen, while Michael checked emails on his phone. Every message screamed urgency. Deadlines, targets, updates, reminders. Work was no longer something he did. It was what he was. Outside, the pre-dawn sky was a grey curtain just beginning to lift. The city stirred with commuters and delivery trucks. In the rideshare mirror, Michael caught his reflection. Eyes heavy, jaw tight, a face 10 years older than his age. He used to believe he was climbing the ladder for his family's future. Now it felt like the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. At 7 a.m. sharp, Michael swiped his ID card at the office turnstile. Rows of cubicles glowed with the cold white light of monitors. By 8, he was deep in a video call discussing project budgets and performance graphs. Hours melted into each other. The buzz of notifications and voices blurred into a rhythmic numbness. By lunchtime, his eyes ached from screens, and his stomach reminded him he hadn't eaten. He grabbed a protein bar and kept typing. That's when his gaze fell on the small photo frame beside his keyboard. Sophie, 6 years old in that picture. Missing her 2 front teeth, laughing with pure light. He had promised to be at her school play tonight. He swore he wouldn't miss it this time. Afternoon meetings came and went. The clock moved faster than it should have. At 6:30 p.m, he was still on a conference call with the London team. Outside, the sun had already set. His heart pounded when he saw the time. If he left now, maybe he could make it. But then someone on the call asked for his input on a presentation slide. He hesitated. That single moment of hesitation became another hour lost. When the meeting finally ended, the office was silent and nearly empty. The janitor was mopping the hall, while city lights flickered outside like distant fireflies. Michael checked his phone. One new message from Emily. We waited as long as we could. Sophie went on stage without seeing you. No anger, just truth. And that was worse than anger. He stared at the words until they blurred. Then another notification appeared, a missed call from his dad. He ignored it for now, telling himself he'd call tomorrow. There was always tomorrow, until there wasn't. When Michael walked through the front door at home, the house was dim and quiet. A single lamp glowed in the living room, casting long shadows over the furniture. On the coffee table lay a program from Sophie's school play. The title read, "Time Flies." Michael let out a bitter laugh that sounded more like a sigh. Emily was sitting on the sofa, arms folded, eyes puffy from crying. When she looked up, her expression was tired more than angry. "How was it?" he asked quietly, as if the answer could change anything. Her voice was calm, almost too calm. "It was beautiful," she said. "She was wonderful." Until she looked for you in the crowd. He closed his eyes. The image of his little girl scanning the auditorium for him was a knife to the heart. "I tried, Em," he whispered. "I really tried to make it." "I know you did," she replied. "And that's the worst part." You always try, but trying doesn't fill the seat next to us. Her words hung in the air like a quiet truth too heavy to move. After a moment, Emily continued, her voice softer. On the way home, she said maybe you had to save the world again. A tear slid down her cheek. She's getting used to you not being there, Michael. That's what breaks me. Michael sat down, head in his hands. I thought I was doing this for her, for us, he said. I wanted to build something solid. A future. Emily reached out, took his hand and squeezed it. Then remember this, she said. Money can build a house, but time builds a home. He looked up at her with tears in his eyes. I don't want to miss her life, Em. Then stop missing it, she whispered. Later that night, long after Emily had gone to bed, Michael sat alone on the sofa. The clock ticked softly on the wall, each tick a reminder of seconds already spent. He stood and walked to Sophie's room. She was asleep, tangled in blankets. A stuffed bunny clutched to her chest. In the soft nightlight, her face was peaceful. He knelt beside her bed and brushed a strand of hair from her forehead. "I promise, sweetheart," he whispered. "I'll do better." "I swear it." The next morning dawned quiet and clear. For the first time in years, Michael didn't rush out the door. Instead, he sat at the kitchen table with Emily and Sophie for breakfast. They laughed over spilled syrup and burned toast. He listened, truly listened, to Sophie's stories about school, about her friends. About how she wanted to be an astronaut and a baker at the same time. Every word felt like a gift. When he offered to drive her to school, Sophie's eyes lit up like a sunrise. During the drive, they sang along to songs on the radio and laughed until their sides hurt. At the drop-off line, she hugged him tightly. "Love you, Dad," she said, before running off with her backpack bouncing. Michael sat in the car for a moment afterward, watching her disappear into the talk. Michael lingered in the car long after Sophie had vanished through the school doors. A quiet smile spread across his face. That small morning drive had felt like a lifetime of meaning. At work, the day unfolded smoothly, almost suspiciously calm. During a short break, he noticed the missed call from his father again. He finally dialed back. Robert answered with his usual warmth, his voice like sunlight through old oak leaves. "Hey, stranger, you still alive under those spreadsheets?" They laughed, trading gentle teasing and everyday chatter. Then Robert's tone softened. "Mike, remember that old fishing spot up at Pine Lake?" "You and I keep saying we'll go again." Michael smiled. "Of course I do." "Well, what do you say we make it happen next month? Just you and me." Michael hesitated. Deadlines loomed. Meetings piled high in his calendar. "Next month sounds perfect," he said. "Good," Robert replied softly. Time slips away faster than we think. Weeks passed in a blur of work and small victories. Michael was trying, really trying to be present. But life, as always, demanded trade-offs. One evening, as he cleaned his fishing rod in the garage, Emily appeared, face pale, phone in hand. "Michael," her voice trembled. "Your dad, he's in the hospital." The rod fell from his hand. The world shrank to a single heartbeat of disbelief. They drove through rain-slick roads to Greenfield Hospital, Emily's hand on his arm as streetlights blurred past. Michael burst through the ICU doors to find his mother waiting, her face crumpled but brave. "Go in," she whispered. "He's asking for you." Inside the sterile room, machines hummed softly. Robert lay still. Eyes half open but aware enough to recognize his son. Michael took his father's hand. "Dad, I'm here." Robert managed a faint smile. "Don't waste it, son. Time, precious." Those were his last words. The monitors flattened into a single long tone. Michael's knees buckled as tears flooded his eyes. A week later, friends and family filled a small church bathed in autumn light. Michael stood at the podium with his father's photo beside him. "My dad never let work take his time away from people." He said through shaking breath. "He wasn't a rich man by money. But he was rich in moments. He showed up." Every time Michael paused to steady his voice, I kept telling him, "Next month." But there are no next months guaranteed. Only today. When the service ended, he stood by the graveside with Emily and Sophie beside him. Cold wind moved through the trees, and somewhere a church bell tolled softly. In that moment, Michael understood the lesson his father had spent a lifetime teaching. Time is not something you find. It's something you make. In the weeks after the funeral, Michael made changes he had only spoken about before. He cut back his hours, turned down a promotion, and told his boss the truth. "I need my life back. A first, it was awkward. His colleagues didn't understand why anyone would walk away from success. But for the first time, Michael felt free. He started taking Sophie to school every morning, making pancakes on Sundays, and going for evening walks with Emily. Their home slowly filled again with laughter, the kind that echoes against kitchen walls and smells like coffee and warmth. One Saturday, a few months later, he drove with Emily and Sophie to Pine Lake. He brought his father's old fishing rod, the one he had dropped that day in the garage. They sat on the dock together as morning mist rose from the water. Sophie held the rod clumsily, her small hands steady in his. "Like this, right, Dad?" she asked. He smiled. "Perfect." They cast their lines and watched ripples spread like rings of time itself. For a long while they sat in peaceful silence. Birds called from the trees, and the air smelled of pine and fresh beginnings. Sophie looked up at him. "Do you miss Grandpa?" Michael nodded. "Every day. But being here with you, it feels like he's here too." She leaned against him. "Then we'll come back often, so he can keep watching us." Michael's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were gentle, like rain that nourishes the earth. He looked out across the lake, the surface shimmering like a memory. And in his heart, he heard his father's voice again. "Don't waste it, son." He whispered back, "I won't." Time, he realized, isn't a thing you manage. It's a gift you share. And the greatest legacy isn't what we leave behind, but the moments we live fully while we're here. As the sun began to set behind the trees, casting gold across the water, Emily called from the shore. "Lunch is ready." Sophie jumped up, laughing. Michael gathered the fishing gear slowly, taking in the scene as if etching it into his soul. He knew life would still rush and demand and test him, but he also knew what truly mattered now. Not tomorrow, not someday, but this moment, right now. As the music fades, and your dreams drift deeper, know that you are safe. You are loved, and this moment belongs only to peace. May you carry this gentle reminder into your sleep tonight. That time is the one gift you can never earn back. So spend it on what truly matters. May your night be calm, your rest be deep, and your dreams gentle. Good night from Moonlight Drift Stories.